Okay, hello and welcome everybody. Happy Black History Month, happy February, happy post Valentine's Day, all of that. Happy Chinese Lunar New Year. Welcome to our Autumn HQ Talking Tech Seminar or Summit, excuse me. We are glad to have you and we can't wait to show you got a lot in store. So we're going to go ahead and get things started off here and kick it off with some action. I'm going to introduce our first tech showcase by Destin Bell. He is a content. Hey, Destin, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Yes, Destin is a entrepreneur and content creator of Bucket Patrol and Cardio. So I'm going to let you take the reins and get us started here, Destin.
Yeah, for sure. It's good for me to share my screen, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Let me go ahead and pull up some slides. 'Cause I know you guys don't want to just have me be a talking head all day because I hate those. So I know you guys probably do too.
We're a little zoomed out, but no, I think we're going to have a good show today. So appreciate you joining us.
For sure. I'll try to make it as fun as I can. Let's see where we at. There we go. Hey
Yes.
guys. Yeah, and you said I got 15 minutes, right? Just want to make
Yes.
sure that I don't
Yes.
go over.
All
Awesome.
right.
Cool. Well, hey guys. Like Issa mentioned, my name is Destin George Bell. I am a recent college grad. Graduated about a year and a half ago. So I guess not that recent. Feels recent. I actually used to work with Autumn for a couple of months as one of their social media marketing interns. But now I am a tech founder, and I want to talk to you a little bit about what I do. I don't know if the audio works here.
Awesome.
I don't know if you guys can hear that. Can you hear that?
No, but
Oh no, it's not too big of a deal. It's not the most important thing in the world. But moral story is this is actually an interview I did for a project I did at Apple about 3 years ago. I was at Apple's campus in the spaceship at Cupertino, and they were interviewing students who were there for this project I was doing. And one of the things they asked me was, what do you want to do? And my answer to them 3 years ago was that I wanted to be a founder who would start up his own company and build really cool things to help make people enjoy or find something more useful or just in general just provide value. And 3 years later, I've been lucky enough to be able to do that in a lot of ways. So one of those is Cardio, which is a cardio fitness app that I'm developing currently, which I'll talk more about. And then also as an esports content creator and influencer, which I'll also talk about. So we're going to start off with cardio. So I can't see you guys or hear you, but I imagine if I had a show of hands of who liked cardio, I would say about 3% of you would probably put your hands up, and of those people, you probably should be put into an insane asylum. No offense, I don't get the runner's high, and I'm jealous for you guys. But because the vast majority of people aren't as cardiovascular oriented in terms of activities and things that they like to do, I'm developing an app that tries to make that a little bit more fun. So just to give you a little bit of understanding what we're doing, we actually got a $50,000 grant from Niantic, which is Pokemon Go's parent company, about 2 months ago. And to give you an overview of what we do, here is a quick demo.
thank you.
But basically, how it works is you would be able to go on there, select what type of activity you're doing, what team you're capturing it for. It will track your route wherever you are on the map. And as you go through that area, it'll trace it. And then the area within the route that you run, walk, crawl, bike, paddleboard, crawl, doesn't really matter, becomes areas that you can own. And so you can own different areas around the town, whether it be in Austin, San Antonio, Houston, or anywhere else, just by doing cardio activity. And so in this case, you can create a Bitmoji or an avatar, link it. You can join one of the different teams that are available. You can track your active streaks of doing some type of movement. You can join communities of other people who are on teams or who are just using the app. You can go on the app and click on other territories and see the leaderboards of the teams that exist in your area, globally or locally. Check your fitness stats so you can see different runs you've done over the last week, the last month, the last year. And in general, just engage with other people who are trying to get in shape just like you are, but trying to turn it into a more fun, gamified experience. And the goal of it is to try to make cardio fun for everybody. So in terms of who my team is, it's me. It's four other people who work with me on a daily level, on the game design level, on the UI UX level. product management side, and then also on the development side, as well as some of our advisors. One of which being the founder of Map My Run, another being the former lead engineer for Pokemon Go, and another one who was the former director of innovation for Adidas's mobile fitness unit.
Hey, Destin.
And
I don't mean to cut
yeah.
you off. I'm so sorry. I want to make sure we're getting the full experience here. I think if you changed your screen, we haven't seen the change in the screen yet.
Oh no. Oh, is it not?
We
Oh,
could.
I
It
was
did
just been talking
change
to
just
myself.
now. Yes, thank you.
Oh, so now you can see it. So you can
Yes.
see it now.
So
Okay.
yes, we can see now. It's like a gray screen.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No
Okay.
problem.
Got you. Can you see? Can you see me switching it now, just to make sure
Yes.
that you can see it?
Yes.
Okay. God, I don't know why that happened. I apologize for that, guys.
No problem. Technology is
God.
technology.
It works until you need it to. Works until you need it to. But I wanted to show you guys. So in terms of how, apps, we all use apps. And one thing that I really didn't even know much about until I started was when you're making these, the screens just seem to happen, right? You go on Snapchat and you go from the screen where you take pictures to when you're looking at your messages to the stories, and it's just like magic. But in the back, there are thousands of different screens that get made in different softwares that you actually need to understand how they work. And I actually want to show you a little bit of behind the hood of what that looks like. So let me switch over to behind the hood so I can pull you guys behind the curtain of what goes in the back end of stuff like this. But in this case, you see all these different screens that I guess you guys weren't able to see because it didn't update. But for all these different screens, there is literally a new iteration for every single button that you press. So when you're using an app and you press a button and it pops up a screen and then you see something change, there's an entirely new screen built off of that you won't even really know because it's so seamless. But on the back end, there's thousands of these different iterations with colors and general icons and all these things that shift from screen to screen, which is a really cool tool. And I think everybody who's looking to do something like that should definitely look into using things like Figma and Sketch. And it's something that I have been learning myself as I've been diving into tech, because I've only been working on this for about a year. And I also wanted to show you guys a little bit about what my work is in the esports space and just in general, the content creation space. And so if we keep moving through here, so another thing that I do is I actually work as a content creator for a lot of different companies. So I actually was in Vegas not too long ago for an event with HyperX. And so with HyperX, I was hosting an event at their facility out in Las Vegas as a content creator, as an influencer for his in-person 2K tournament. Outside of that, and that goes under Bucket Patrol. Outside of that, I also have a stream show. And so if you guys ever been on Twitch or even right now on StreamYard on the back end, this is kind of similar to what it looks like on the administration side, but you can control what you show on screen and you can stream on Twitch and whatnot. And so I actually have a Twitch show that I do for the University of Kentucky where I play games, interview people, and just in general do different types of entertainment around streaming for the University of Kentucky, as well as different brands. In this case, sometimes it's around video games. In this case, it was, and this is me absolutely getting destroyed by the computer, and that was a sad day for me. I got beat on stream, and everybody saw that, and that was very embarrassing. But it's really an interesting opportunity that I think a lot of people have been, especially the younger people, have been taking advantage of, myself being 23, is being able to stream and build an audience around playing games or having shows like this where you talk about tech, where you talk about different activities that people can get into, or just showcase some of your skills. So outside of that, I also just make content on Premiere Pro. So if you guys have heard of Adobe, they have what they call the Creative Cloud, where you can actually go on there and create content. And so in this case, I have a ton of different clients that I make content for, which varies in all different types. So in this case, I was editing a video live on a stream with LinkedIn for making a video that I was going to post on LinkedIn. And because of that, I've been able to do work with groups like the NBA. So I had a content series with the NBA, helping them explaining some of their esports activations that they were doing. I also did work with groups such as the NBA's brand sponsors. So in this case, they had an all-star event. We worked with Oreo, DoorDash, AT&T, and other groups with some different influencers and trainers in the basketball space. Also hosted other events.
Sorry, if you're changing your screen, we're still on the one with your face with Bucket Patrol.
Oh man, is it not shifting at all? Why is it not shifting? Can you see it? So you can see it now, though, right?
Yes.
I'm so sorry, guys. Let me minimize this for a second. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know why it's not moving for you guys. So you can see it moving now, though, right?
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, but so in this case, let me leave it right here because it seems like for some reason when I go into present mode, it's not moving. But in this case right here, I was doing a stream show for the University of Kentucky, playing games, and so they pay me to quite literally just hop on stream and play games. Sometimes with other people, or sometimes just by myself while I talk about different topics. I interview people. It really just depends on what's happening. But people are making tens of thousands of dollars a month, if not more, just playing games on Twitch, on LinkedIn, on all these other different platforms. I mean, even right now we're using StreamYard, which you can use to stream on to LinkedIn Live, which I've done some different stuff on. And in this case, it's a huge economy that's super simple, doesn't require a lot of overhead, and it's a really easy way for a lot of young people who are getting started in their career to build a platform and also engage in stuff that they love to do. Because people love watching people play video games. In
It
this
is
case,
a
losing video games because I'm not
yes.
very good. Huge, 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 huge market. Outside of that, I also make content for different brands, and I make that with Premiere Pro. So if you guys are familiar with Adobe Creative Cloud, in this case, I was using something called Premiere Pro, where you can make content, videos such as the ones you just saw from me on the HyperX thing. And so in this case, I've been able to do content series with the NBA. So I had a content series where they paid me to show up to events and make content around specific activations the NBA was doing in the esports space. They flew me out to an event here with the NBA 2K League's All-Star Game, doing work with DoorDash, Champion, Oreo, DoorDash, AT&T with NBA players, NBA influencers, content creators in the space. I got to host an event out in Dallas in the largest esports arena in the country, hosting the event with a bad haircut, so that's why I was wearing the hat. So let's not talk about that. That was a tough day. And I've done other things such as one-off brand activation. So I got to be a special feature for a Snapchat show for an esports, a publicly traded esports company as a host for one of their Snapchat shows around esports and 2K. I also got to be a brand influencer for Old Spice in an interview series that they were doing for interviewing professional 2K League players.
Awesome. Probably can't hear it this time, but I'm definitely
Yeah,
see the value in
apologize
it.
about this. Yeah, apologize about the sound for that. And then also other ones like this one where I was doing some stuff for McDonald's for another stream, which is so funny because I don't even eat McDonald's. I literally that was like the first time in like 7 years I ever bought McDonald's just because I needed to have something on stream for brand placement. But hey, if it pays, we gonna find a way to incorporate it. I didn't say I ate it, but I definitely bought something just to have the bag in the background. And it's a ton of different opportunities within that space. I know I'm running low on time, so I just want to cut it there, really. But I just want to talk a little bit about some of the things that I'm doing in tech, and also about some of the opportunities that exist there. I'm 23. I didn't really have a background in tech. I'm not a software developer. I didn't have any background using things like Photoshop or Premiere or whatnot until I moved to Austin. And over about the year and change I've been here, been able to get a company we're raising money for with 5 employees, developing a startup that hopefully will be able to impact millions of people across the country and getting them more active, and also around creating content on Twitch, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on TikTok, Instagram, for platforms that are fairly easy to pick up and don't require a ton of technical talent. And I think there's a ton of opportunity there. I know Autumn is all about pushing those opportunities on the people who are looking to get into tech. And as a young black man who didn't have a lot of money or experience in it, it's been not easy to get into, but it's definitely been something that wasn't like learning how to be Mark Zuckerberg overnight. And I think that if you guys are looking to get into tech, those are two opportunities I think are really interesting to look into: streaming, and also streaming and content creation in general, and also looking into finding ways to incorporate some of your skill sets into app development or just building startups in the tech space. But I know I'm running
So
out of
you said
time, so I'll
streaming.
just
One more thing for a shameless plug. I want to go
yeah,
ahead. Can you go back to the screen of your cardio? We didn't get a chance to see that. So I want that to be
yeah.
the last thing people see when it comes to all of your accomplishments. If you could put that on the screen, and then shameless plug. This is for your it's an app, correct?
Yeah, yeah, hell, we love shameless plugs.
And
I
if
have
you
no shame in that. Yeah.
And if you
So
have the link, you can
mhm.
also put it in the comments as well for those who are interested in that application. So you would go ahead and put the link, and then you said the two things that you focused on in terms of your, your entrepreneurship and your career is you built it off of content creation, and you said streaming. Those are the two keywords or three words.
Yeah, so I would say content creation with streaming being rung below that because I started off
Okay,
making YouTube videos, TikToks, Instagram Reels. I got noticed by the right people and I started getting hired out for client work, and that turned into sponsorship work, and it's turned into a full-fledged career that has been the propeller for me being able to do this on a full-time basis. And then for the app, it really started off with an idea and then finding people who had some of the technical skills I didn't, and then learning the ones that I did. Like, I'm not a developer. I couldn't code my way out of an HTML website or anything like that. But I know some people who are very talented, and I was able to pick up skills in Figma and also bring in your non-technical skills into it. Because even if it's a tech startup, people still need
got it.
salespeople. They still need accountants. They still need people who know how to hire. They need operation managers. They need
Right.
people who know how to talk to people. Like, you have so many opportunities in tech that aren't just being able to code like Mark Zuckerberg or being able to build computers like Steve Wozniak. The idea of tech being only for tech people is honestly a myth that we got to get out of the habit of, because when I got
And,
into it, I realized, holy crap, I've been leaving so much opportunity on the table because I thought that if I wanted to be in tech, I had to be a kind of guy who knows how to code in like 7 different
right.
languages and could build a computer when he was 12 years old.
And that's
And
what we're doing, and that's what Autumn HQ is all about. We're making sure that we are making sure that people who don't know anything about tech, they can always join the industry. It just takes a little more time training, but if you find out what you're exactly interested in, what you have done, and you've shown to us so well with cardio and with bucket, help me out.
Bucket Patrol, got
Bucket
you.
Patrol. Thank you, Bucket Patrol. I'm sorry, I lost the train of thought. But yes, with everything that you've done, we definitely appreciate you for joining, and we definitely look forward to looking at your app. So everybody get a chance to look at this app, check it out, and show us some love. Thank you, Destin, for hopping on.
No problem. Appreciate you for having me.
All right, great. Next. We are so I was awesome. Thank you, Destin. Start us off with a little bit of action. Um, Want to go ahead and get everybody a chance to really, dive into what exactly you're doing, because a lot of times that means I want to see it. I want to actually, touch it and feel it versus just talk about it. So it's exactly what we got a chance to do with Destin. But thank you for that. So next we're going to bring on our first moderator, which is Tyler Rouse. She has two desk jobs. So she has her job as the external partner coordinator with Autumn HQ, and then she also is a community advisor with AWS. So Tyler, thanks for joining.
Thanks, Issa. I really appreciate it. Well, I have the pleasure of introducing four Black women in tech. I get to talk to them about their journey in tech and why they love it so much. So, firstly, I'm not going to, take a bunch of their time. So, I'm actually going to have Aisha Lowry come up with me. We actually work at Amazon together. I have met her. She's a wonderful person. So I'm going to start us off. Aisha, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, Tyler. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you. So, firstly, please introduce yourself to the people and tell us what fascinates you most about tech.
Great question. So, my background is in electrical engineering, and I was always really fascinated with, putting things together, taking things apart. But as a kid, I really didn't have the words or the term for it. We didn't talk about engineering, and I didn't know anything about it. So, when I found out about it, I was all in, and I finally was able to put a term, engineering, to what it was that I love to do. Once I got more into my career, I found and continued to see that there weren't many women, weren't many minorities in this space. So I really begun to just kind of pivot and shift into nonprofits, into STEM advocacy, and really wanting to make sure that other students who look like me, who come from the same communities where I was born and raised, had the opportunities and the awareness to be able to get that term, engineering or any of the STEM fields, and understand that you don't have to just get a job, that there's a lot of entrepreneurship in it if they want to, be able to build and create
Yeah.
And so that's the thing that really fascinates me about, technology and being in this space, because anything that you think of, one of the STEM fields really touches upon that. And so I'm always very excited to be able to expose students to that and kind of see when their light bulbs go off and the aha moment. So right now at AWS, what I do is I'm heading global education programs. So just being able to take the technology and cloud computing and what it is that we do at AWS to be able to expose it to K to 12 all the way up to adult learners who may not who may be new to the cloud, and how to be able to present that to them through education programs and through training.
Thank you so much. And I just have to touch on the fact that you really talked about creating access to tech for so many people that, look like us. So thank you for doing that type of work, because, that is very important. So you kind of talked about education programs. So tell us why we should be interested in what it is that you do.
Yeah, I mean, it's really important. Like I said, coming from a nonprofit back into industry is so important. And one of the reasons why I left industry in the first place is because I really didn't see companies at that time really understand why it's important to invest in early career talent. And I mean early as K to 12. So companies are definitely always recruiting, looking for students who are graduating from college, who will be those entry level, engineers, scientists, technologists, but they were not understanding that you need to plant these seeds very early. And so these education programs, are really needed to be able to plant those seeds for K to 12 students, because there's such a demand for these technology fields, and we don't have enough people and people who look like us to be able to fill those, just because of the access and the awareness. And so once you're able to provide someone with the access, the awareness, and show them the opportunities, then a whole new world opens for them, right? Just being able to understand what the cloud is and what it does. Students are using it every day, but they don't really understand the concept, right? So they're consumers, and what we want to really be able to do with, the training and the education programs is really be able to take them from not only just being consumers, but to being builders. Like I love Dustin, how he talked about, not really having, all of it to be a coder, but he was able to be able to understand how to maneuver and how to be there and how to provide opportunities and how to be able to receive opportunities. And so we just want to make sure that not only just students, but even as adults, there are many people who don't understand, the technology, what the cloud is. And so there are education and training programs for them as well, so that they can really understand. Because one of the things about technology is that no matter what industry you go into, what field, students want to pursue, you have to really be, computer literate, right? You have to understand. So it goes across the board, and it's not only in just one area, it's in every area that you can think about. So that's why I really am not only, in my profession, but very, passionate in my personal, life as well, about making sure that this is really exposed and really brought to, from K to 12 all the way up to adult learners. And I have the opportunity to do that in my role.
No, I love that. Thank you so much, Aisha. When we think about it, again, giving access to, younger students, planting those seeds, you're able to also foster, and again, this is an Amazon term, like that learn and be curious model that we love so much at Amazon. So thank you so much. I'm going to ask you one last question in one word. What do you think the tech industry should be adopting immediately in order to develop faster?
What I think they need to be developing immediately is not so much focus on the technology, but more focus on the customer, right? And so you mentioned one of the things that, at AWS and, in terms of our leadership principle, and it is being customer obsessed. And I think that when, we are able to pay attention to who the customer is, who the client is, then we will become more aware of why diversity is so important. There are so many products that are marketed to, people who look like us, but not only should it be marketed to them, but they should be able to have the access and the awareness to really understand about that whole process if they want to get into it. So I think that, companies really should focus on being as customer obsessed as possible.
Thank you so much, Aisha, for those gems that you just dropped. I really appreciate you for joining us this evening. Please stick around so we can potentially do some Q&A. So after that, I would love to call up Tasha McCarter. She joins us from RWE. Hi, Tasha. How are you?
Hi, Tyler. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for joining us tonight. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and ask you to please introduce yourself and tell us what fascinates you about tech.
All right. So my name is Tasha McCarter, and I work for a company called RWE Renewables. And so I work in the clean tech space. And the company I work for is a multinational company based out of Germany. And we build solar, utility scale solar, energy storage, and on and offshore wind plants. And so we're basically part of the energy transition, shifting from what we call dirty power to clean power. Now, what fascinates me about tech specifically, and I was over here rooting for Aisha because my background is also in electrical engineering. And when I was in school, same story, and we're kindred spirits, Aisha and I. I didn't have the words either. Eventually, I determined that an electrical engineering is what I wanted to do. And I kept down that particular path throughout my career, though I did venture into some commercial roles as part of my development and evolution. I pretty much stayed in the energy space from the standpoint of power systems engineering. So my background was in the early, and I won't give my years away, but I was heavily involved in the inception of building out data centers, and that was before a lot of these before the tech boom. And just to see where we've gone from the Y2K period, with data centers coming online left and right, to the evolution of companies like or entities like AWS leveraging the data center format. It's just been just a tremendous explosion. I mean, this technological revolution is just fascinating in itself.
Absolutely.
And what continues to fascinate me in the space that I'm in is that because I'm still in the power system space where I'm generating power through the use of sunlight and or wind, we're overlaying tech onto that application. So traditional power generation, something that we've had for a very long time, we're now leveraging technology to forecast the weather, improve the operations of our facilities, use it for problem solving purposes. And I'd like to say, just in general, the clean tech space as a whole, outside of renewables, is heavily leveraging technology as we look to reduce our carbon exposure. There is a lot of carbon capture technologies. There are technologies that deal with electric vehicles. And so there's a ton of technology in this clean tech space, and just the evolution and having seen it from where it was to where it is now is what really fascinates me.
Right. And just to co-sign that, like, tech has never been static. So I'm also really excited, like, watching the journey. I will date myself. I started in tech like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and I've always been on the cloud. So, I don't remember what it looked like before that. So, and we're still doing a ton with AI, ML, all of that. So thank you so much for that insight. So my next question for you, what is about your present job and company that actually keeps you there?
Okay, present job and company. So I've been in the renewable energy field for about 11 years now. I made a transition from the building design power system space, designing buildings, to moving into this space. And when I moved into renewables, it was at a time where I was committed to helping our journey from reliance on oil and gas to pivoting towards clean energy. And a lot of it had to do with our war in Iraq. I felt
Mm-hmm.
like we were there for oil. And I felt like if there's anything that I could do to help us get better energy security and pivot away from the demand of oil, then this is what I was going to do. So I've been in the industry for about 11 years. It's been a challenge because when you enter an industry that's in its relative infancy, you deal with a lot of technological challenges. You deal with a lot of commercial challenges, and so it's been very challenging. But what has kept me in this industry specifically is, my commitment to helping us shift our energy resources. The company that I'm with specifically today, I've been in this role with this company for about 10 months. And it's a step up for me in terms of leadership. I'm the vice president of engineering for this company. And so it gives me an opportunity to use my skill set, both technical and commercial, to bring about the change that, I'm hoping to see.
Yeah. And I love that. Like, you're very purpose driven. And honestly, like, in the type of industry that you're working in currently, that's so very important. So, congratulations on that step up, too.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And so, last question for you in one word. Let's keep it to one word.
One word.
What do you think the tech industry should be adopting immediately to develop in order to develop faster?
Adopting immediately, and I know that's more than one word. Well, I mean, and I'm gonna piggyback on what Aisha has said, and it's part of the reason why I'm here, even on this Autumn HQ web stream here, is we need to not only focus on a little bit more on diversity, but also the equity piece. We need to engage the full demographic that we have in this country. Right now, we are, and I'm sorry, it's more than one word, but right now, our industry is severely resource constrained in terms of we can't find enough bodies to fill the seats. And so, why are we, not tapping into the broad set of talent that we have out here? So that's my multiple words for a one word answer.
Thank you so much, Tasha. I appreciate you for being the movement. It was great to talk to you tonight. Please stick around for potential Q&A.
All right. Thank you, Tyler.
No problem. All right. And next, I'm going to call Ashaki Sorrell. She works with the Michigan Conference of Teamsters Welfare Fund. That is a mouthful. Hi. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. How are you, Tyler? Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. So happy to have you. So I'm going to go ahead and get us off. What can you tell us about yourself? And also tell us what fascinates you about tech?
Yeah, absolutely. So like you said, I work for the Michigan Conference of Teamsters Welfare Fund, and we provide healthcare benefits to families all across the United States. And specifically what I do is I'm an IT project manager. So I lead a team of software developers, system engineers, system admins to be able to develop software solutions to make sure that we are providing the best value to our membership. So what fascinates me most about tech, there's no limits in tech, right? There's no boundaries, there's no barriers. You can move and create as much as you need to and want to. I began my career as a technical writer for Pfizer Global Development and Research. I wrote user manuals on how to use proprietary system by scientists and clinicians. And then I moved into business analyst. I've worked for the government. I've worked with the Department of Defense leading projects. So as you can see, I've had a varied past in tech. And so there's no limit. So that's what I love a lot about tech, is that you're not pigeonholed. You can pivot, you can reinvent yourself. And there's this constant expectation in a good way to solve problems. And that's what I love the most about tech, is problem solving. There's a litany of problems for us to be able to solve and tackle with tech. So I absolutely love that.
Oh, I love that. I love all of that. And this is also coming from someone who has also pivoted a lot within my tech career. So plus one to that. Definitely agree with that. So my next question for you is, why should someone be interested in what you do?
Yeah, that's a great question. So with project management, it's always going to be needed, right? Regardless of the technology, whether you're talking about the cloud, whether you're talking about hardware, whether you're talking about software development, whether you're talking about streaming services, there's always going to be a need for communication, for collaboration, and for teamwork. And that's the essence of a project manager in the tech space. We communicate, we collaborate, we go from chaos to a solution. And so that's why I think that, anyone out there that's interested in entering into tech, and maybe they're not technical, maybe they don't code, but they want to be a part of the technology industry, project management is a great option. It's a very viable option, and it's needed everywhere. Everywhere you go, there's going to be a need for a project manager.
Thank you for saying that. So, transferable skills are so, so important. Project management, program management, literally all of those are definitely gateways into technology. So, thank you for, again, reiterating that. You don't have to be technical to get into tech.
Yes, absolutely. That is a myth that needs to be debunked.
It is. It really is, especially for Black and brown people like that really don't understand, what they don't understand, in terms of access. So thank you so much for that. And so, in one word, tell me, what do you think the tech industry should be adopting immediately in order to develop faster?
Yeah, if I have to choose one word, I would say inclusion. And the reason why I say inclusion is because there are a lot of Black and brown people that are entering tech, and it's exciting. But now that we're at the table, how do we stay at the table? How are our thoughts included? How are our experiences included? And then how do we include others? So I think if the tech industry wants to go as far as it can, inclusion is the one word that I would say. It's not enough just to be at the table, but when you're at the table, how are you treated? And what type of access do you have while you're at the table? So inclusion.
Look, you're preaching right now. I'm going to plus one that again, and then also say equity right alongside of that inclusion is also extremely important. So, Ashaki, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I really appreciate you being here. And again, stand by for potential Q&A.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And so lastly, on this tech summit with the women panel, I also want to call up Crystal Paul from Black UX Austin. Hey, Crystal, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Tyler?
I'm good. Thank you so much. She also is an Amazonian as well. Excuse me. So please introduce yourself to us and tell us what fascinates you most about the tech industry.
I'll just start off by saying I identify as a Black and Latinx queer cisgender single mom of two amazing kids. And what fascinates me about the tech industry is I never thought I'd be a techie. I had a similar kind of thing like Aisha, where I liked taking things apart, understanding how pieces work. But I grew up in an environment where you could not have imagined working at the level that you and me work at right now, at Amazon, for example. And I got undergrad degrees in music and history, which is like kind of far from tech, right? It's like, or seemingly. And so I performed on stages to tell stories, or I wrote papers that delivered perspectives on on history, on a story of history. But when I got to grad school, I was going to study museum stuff around history, and I started getting interested in tech. And it really had to do with the storytelling part that can be a part of tech. I started taking classes around human-computer interaction and usability and design, and I just got so interested, and I realized, oh my gosh, I am able to tell stories. I learn people's stories as a user experience researcher, which is what I am. And I learn from their words, I learn from their behaviors, and I learn from their context and environment. And that is how I'm able to take that and deliver it into a tech space that then transforms into product design or customer experiences that are designed for people like you and me. So that's really that's what fascinates me about tech.
No, thank you for that. Again, like something that we're really big on at Amazon is design thinking, and being customer
Yep.
centric. So, yep, talking about, you using that data, that customer data, those anecdotes to drive, your storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. And again, having those is what is going to make the best product. So, thank you so much for that intro, Crystal. So I think you kind of touched on this, but what about your present job and company is actually keeping you there?
Yeah, so before I was at Amazon, I was at a healthcare company, and high stakes in healthcare, especially during a pandemic. And I enjoyed being there. And what drew me to Amazon and what I enjoy, what keeps me there, is the attitude of what else can we learn? What else can we know that we don't know yet, right? You talked about leadership principles before. Learn and be curious. That is such a big part of being a user experience researcher, and that's such a big part of Amazonian culture. And so that's one of the reasons why I stay there. I also think that tech has the power to empower, but it also has the power to harm people.
Mm,
And so I liked that one of the other leadership principles we have at Amazon is to have backbone, disagree, and commit. And so I can have backbone as part of my job and say, I don't think this is good. I don't think this will be good for the customers at the end of the day. And it's my job to advocate for them anyway. That is literally the job description for a researcher, besides doing studies, that to make sure that we don't harm customers' experience or their well-being, and collaborate with product managers and executive designers, whoever, in order to get that done. But I love doing that. I love that I can see increasing diversity at Amazon. And I also love that I get to, my other job, be a part of Black UX Austin and pull up other people who look like me into this field, by creating a community for people who are in the field or who are looking to enter the field.
yes. Okay. Creating access. Yes, Crystal, thank you so much. And so my last question for you is, in one word, what do you think the tech industry should be adopting immediately in order to develop faster?
I would say discomfort. And it
Mm,
sounds weird. And I'll just say, because I think the whole crux of technology is trying to make things convenient or better or comfortable for people. But I don't think we take enough time to be uncomfortable or to experience discomfort in technology, which sometimes can lead to barriers to equity when we
mm,
aren't able to examine ourselves and experience discomfort in tech and go, you know what, we didn't do right, or you know what, we have too many barriers to Black and Latinx folks or transgendered folks or whoever else coming in our doors, using our products, or being a part of in the room where it happens, and
mhm.
participating in developing these experiences. So I think discomfort is really the word I would say that the tech industry needs to adopt right away.
Well, thank you so much for those insights, Crystal. I really appreciate you being here this evening. Thank you for being the movement. And from here, I'm actually going to call back Issa, our MC for the evening, because we are done with the female moderated panel. Thank you so much, ladies.
And thank you, Tyler. I had to go change my shirt and put on one that had to represent a little bit more for Black History Month. Black women are dope, period. Yes. So, thanks for that panel. That was a delight. And each lady had their own spill and their own voice that really added to the story, to the movement and actions that we're doing every day at AUTMHQ. So thanks so much for hosting that. And I will definitely let you go and enjoy the rest of the event.
Thank you.
Up next, we have Kobla Titi, and he is actually the CEO and founder of Break the Box, and he is going to be moderating our male panel. So, Kobla, come on in.
Ooh, it's actually going to be Quest doing a showcase.
Oh, you know what? Just kidding, Cobra. Go right behind stage. You know what? Thank you so much for that. Apologize.
No
I was
problem,
excited for
Issa.
the male panel. I was ready for one panel and I was ready for the next one. But no, we're going to have Quest. Yes, definitely going to have another action filled moment with Quest. He is our MOFAT. He is the founder of. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, just kidding. We're actually gonna talk. So Issa, quick question for you.
Yes. Yes.
For this event, what are you really like mostly looking forward to, in terms of the rest of it?
I really like so I'm a visual learner and that I
Mhm.
try to change it. It's not changing. And so a lot of the ways I learn is seeing and doing what it is, whatever area of tech, what area that person actually does on a daily basis, and really diving into the showcases because a lot of times we have really good conversations. And some people, it's only but so much point they can get to, they can understand or actually put action to those words or name with face, however you want to call it, and actually dive in. Okay, what buttons are you pressing? What software are you downloading? What websites are you going to every day? You know, where are you tracking your calendar?
Right.
I don't know, just those things sometimes make a huge difference. And so adding the ability to go in and like dive into these different tech professionals, you know, daily lives in terms of their showcases is really insightful.
I agree. I'm really looking forward to our next showcase. Um, but let's see.
Definitely. And you know what? What about you? I know you had some good conversations, and I was
did.
trying to tune in, but backstage. But I was like, no, I'm just a guest right now, so I had so many things to say and ask myself. But y'all covered a lot of content. What was probably your favorite part of the conversation?
We did. Honestly, I saw that there was a big theme in terms of creating access. Like all of the women were really in their roles, like they're purpose driven. They're trying to create access for other Black and Brown people. And that was really exciting to me because that's something that I have a mission to do as well. I know that you do too, with AUTMHQ. So that made me really happy.
Most definitely. And it's also good to see, you know, yourself in some of these other roles, like the VP of engineering.
Yeah.
Like that.
Right. Like
People think of engineering like, you know, old white guy, but no, like that is dope. And hence the shirt. But that is definitely why, you know, having this conversation and getting visibility because it's good now that if you're on my Automites, I know who you are, I see your names. If you're into renewable energy, if you're into UX design, if you're into data analytics, these people that are talking, remember when I shared that they want to interact and meet with you over LinkedIn and have conversations and continue those conversations? This is the opportunity to do that. You know, definitely in the chat, you know, make yourself known there. If you can find them on LinkedIn, we've shared their names and what companies they're working for. So they're definitely open and expecting to hear from you, especially if that aligns with what you're trying to do.
Absolutely. So we're going to actually bring Crystal back on really quickly, just to do some closing remarks. Hey, Crystal.
Hi, can y'all hear me?
Yes, you can. So,
yeah, this is such a great, I'm so happy to be a part of this Blacks in Tech Summit with AUTMHQ. And I have been so, just the joy that I have at hearing all of the women that came before me, of fellow Amazonian women who are Black being on this panel, I just have enjoyed so much.
Definitely. Thanks for having us, or thanks for joining us.
Let's see. So let's see if there are any questions in the chat. Do you all have any questions for the ladies from the panel? Let us know. We can take one question really quickly, and then we're going to present Kobla.
Yes.
Or the
We had
male
some good comments. Everybody was really just cheering on as y'all were talking. So I think that's also great.
That's great. I mean, it's great to just see and be a part of all this Black excellence right here.
Absolutely. All right, Issa, well, I'll hand it off to you then.
Okay.
You want to present?
Thank y'all so much for joining. Yes, thank you. All right. So now I'm ready for that second panel that I was so anxious for. We are going to bring on Kobla. Hikolatiti, he is the CEO and founder of Break the Box, a home ownership lay form that combines access, education, data to help young minority professionals into home ownership and building wealth. Is that right?
Yeah, that is actually correct.
Awesome. So thanks for joining us. I want to definitely let you get it started with the male panel and take it from here.
Awesome. The women did a great job, so
They
we
did.
appreciate them because without balance, without both sides of the spectrum,
Exactly.
the community is not what it is or what it's supposed to be. So, got to give a shout out. Got to give a shout out to the women because without them, we're not here. So.
All right, I'm gonna go change and make a wardrobe change and give y'all another Black History shirt. So we'll see you on the other side.
Okay, Black History shirts.
Wardrobe change, you got to. It's like on a workshop.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome everybody. Appreciate you definitely being on, the StreamYard and delving into tech and different personalities and people that we have in tech. We have some gentlemen that we are going to bring onto the stage and ask them some questions about why they're superheroes in the tech industry. Because, when you're of this culture, you have to be a superhero. You just are. We've done too many things. We're great people. So I look forward to those individuals. Of course, I'm not bringing them to the stage. So, of course, I have to wait for them to pop on the stage. I am not curating all of those things. So when those gentlemen pop on, oh, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. We got one of them. Chase, how you doing today?
Doing good, Cobla. How are you?
I am absolutely excellent. I'm actually a little bit hungry, though. I ain't going to lie. I ate a little bit earlier. So, it's about that time. You know what I mean? Get some sustenance in the system. But how was your day?
It's been good. First day back from having Monday off, so it's been quiet in the office. Was able to get some work done.
Okay, all right. The camera's looking crispy. the good old resolution.
Crunch,
hey, we on a tech conference. We got to have a resolution on the camera, so it only makes perfect sense. It only makes perfect sense. So I am not sure. Let me verify because I'm not sure if all three panelists will be on at the same time. Or is it just, we start with you and I, but we shall. Okay. So I believe I have seen it. So Chase, let's get into who you are, sir. So I'm going to start asking you some questions. All right. So first of all, love to know about who you are, the journey, what you're doing in tech. Let us know something about yourself. How did you get here? What exactly are you doing? We see Parachute Health on your title with BUXA. Give us some background, brother. Let us know what's going on.
Yeah, my name is Chase Chenevert. I am a senior product designer at Parachute Health, and I am a board member of Black UX Austin. I made my way into tech so in college, I studied cello performance was my major. My minor was graphic design. After school, I entered the industry in communication design with a global education nonprofit. And then up in Boston, I'm originally from Louisiana.
Okay.
And then, so after that came down to Austin, wanted to transition out of communication design work. The thing with marketing is that you create campaigns, you put messaging out into the world, but the kind of lifetime of that work that you put out is very short. So you put something out into the world, that campaign closes, and that's it. There's nothing that really lasts about that. So I wanted to get into tech because I wanted to do things that would have kind of a lifespan and to be able to impact people's lives. So I took some time away from the work that I was doing to transition my career into tech. And then I got kicked off starting with the city of Austin, where I worked at an innovation hub within the city that was developing new ways of delivering public services to the public. And we created some really interesting products there. The first complaint form for police officer interactions in the city, which meant that someone no longer had to go physically to the police office to file a complaint about an interaction with a police officer. There were a number of things that came out of that. You can find them in the news. And that was really my firsthand experience of putting technology into the hands of the public and seeing what they could do to change what was happening around them. And so from then on, I knew that tech was a place for me. And what fascinates me the most about tech, I think it's that point there is, anytime we look into the past as Black people, there is no place for us. the only place for us is the future. And we have to have those tools in our hands to be able to create that. And so to me, I think, we belong here. And to me, that's my mission. That's why I serve on Black UX. Because I believe, certainly I work for this company, Parachute, but that is not the extent of what I do in my contributions to the world. That happens through the advocacy work, the creation of community and spaces. The phrase that I think of is that Sankofa phrase. It's reach back and fetch it. It is not taboo to fetch what is at risk of being left behind. And so to me, I believe that that's what's so important about these skills and connecting with others like us to create space and inroads into the opportunities that are here.
Yeah. So what I heard in all of that is, first of all, thank you for sharing that story and what got you into this field. But what I definitely heard of in there that resonated was the opportunities, right? What does technology present, and what are the opportunities that allow the landscape to be open and more things to be created? Because ultimately, what it seems is the things, when we create things, which we do all the time, because that's a part of our culture, and are able to capitalize off of those things, they lead to a certainly different narrative, and secondly, a different path. So 100% with you on that. So definitely appreciate that feedback. So you kind of touched on why you currently, are in the field. Is there anything particular? So you're over Black UX. Specifically, let's talk about UX. Was there something that called you toward that society? Because UX is its own category by itself. And love for you to tell people who do or do not know what UX is, a brief description, if you don't mind.
Yeah, UX is short for user experience design. I'll tell you, it is a bit of a misnomer in the industry, though, because UX to me encompasses a lot of different people and a lot of different roles. Mm-hmm. Specifically, what I work on is the design. So that means the end user's experience. You can think of it when you open an app on your phone, the things that you are interacting with, those are the experiences both on that screen and then across time. So it's the flows. It's when you log in and you go and you're interacting with content and you're sending a message to someone and you get that notification back. All of that part of designing that experience, specifically as it relates to the flows, to the visuals, and then working with researchers, working with engineers, working with product managers to ensure that we are building the right thing for the right users and that we're making the experience hopefully frictionless and easy to use. So a lot of my day-to-day is creating diagrams inside of Figma, creating prototypes, sharing with stakeholders, gathering feedback, running research sessions with end users and listening to them and representing the voice of the end user to my team, to my company.
Okay. All right. So you began to touch on that and you gave us a breakdown. So thank you once again for breaking that down. So if I'm a young individual, you know what I mean? I'm out here on these streets or I'm in school, I'm in undergrad, and I'm trying to figure something out. You know what I mean? I have a slight interest in technology. Don't necessarily know where my path is going to go. What do you think in terms of why should I be interested in this line of work from your perspective, or why should I have a passion for maybe what you're doing or something that it segues into? But based on, we're going to talk to the young Chase, Chase that was 19. We're not even going 20 years old. We're going 19 years old. What are the things why would the young Chase be interested in this, and why would he begin to have a passion for technology and potentially UX?
Yeah, there's a quote I have. Innovation, after all, breeds inequity, not inevitably, but predictably. So you think about it, there is such a focus on the industry. Think of Uber Eats, think of all of these things that are at a touch of your finger and that things just magically happen in a background, completely away from your unawareness. This reminds me a lot of segregation in some ways, where Black people had to enter in a certain part of a facility, otherwise to not be seen. And this is what I think of, because when you press that button on Uber Eats, sure, this is innovation. You can get food delivered to you from places that didn't have the infrastructure to be able to connect with a courier who could get you that food in a timely manner. That's great. But companies like that and products and technology like that are also creating an underclass. These are people who are not supported by the kind of resources that you get when you are a full-time employee somewhere. These are contract gig workers who do not have the same protections and rights as people who are on staff. So that innovation is nice from a consumer standpoint, because I can hit a button and get something. But what's happening in those Amazon warehouses where they can't get unionization and they have no protections, and particularly the one in Alabama that was primarily Black and brown people in that facility. So to me, it's we have to decentralize these kinds of hierarchies, and it only happens when we are in those places.
Well, Chase, definitely appreciate all of your feedback, you know what I mean, and your point of view, and definitely grateful for the things that you're doing in the technology realm. So we're going to get ready to segue to our next individual, give us as much insight as you had. And oh, by the way, when you were working with the city, I'm assuming that you were working with Farah, because I remember when you guys.
Yes, she was from the fellowship program that I was in. We worked very closely with her office. That was specifically who we worked with to create that form. So yes, I love Farah. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I remember when they were creating the form. So good work. That was excellent work, man. Yeah. That was you. That was great work. Yeah. That was great work. Well, I appreciate your time, Chase. And maybe call on. So now we're going to introduce another gentleman onto the screen. What's funny is we got a gentleman coming onto the screen to bless us with some knowledge. Terrence will be coming on. What's funny is we were having a call earlier, and I called Terrence sir. He said, "Hey, don't call me sir." I said, "Okay, I'm not going to call you sir. I'm going to call you brother." What's going on, brother Terrence? How are you doing, sir? Oh, see, look, I slipped up and did it again, Terrence. I'm sorry. You're on mute, by the way. You're on mute.
Okay, doing great. Thanks for the invitation. I'm really happy to be here and participate. Brother.
Yeah. No, we appreciate you giving us a segment of your time, a particular segment of your time for the day. So thank you so much. So the first thing we're going to talk with, similar questions that I asked Chase, is love for you to share your journey, who exactly you are and why you're in tech.
Okay, great. I started, I'm a University of Houston grad in accounting, then got an MBA in finance. I led AT&T's first strategic costing projects, and a consultant took me under his arm and taught me the consulting business. So from there, I spent 20 years consulting high-tech CFOs, basically specializing in profitability analytics, strategic costing, planning, budgeting, forecasting. I wrote a magazine article, co-authored a few books. I'm proud to say I worked with prestigious clients like Huawei in China for a year and a half. So I do speak Mandarin, ni hao mao. I also worked with Facebook. I have photos with Mark Zuckerberg on IPO day. And I continued in consulting until 2 years ago. I transitioned to account executive with AWS. I brought the same consulting skills, basically transformation and learning, what we call the AWS working backwards, learning the customer's business. I'm proud to say I won Account Executive of the Year, Rookie of the Year. I closed a 9-figure deal a couple months ago. But that's enough about me. What I do, also to pay it forward, I teach MBA Management Accounting at University downtown. I was the executive champion at University of Houston. I brought in 40 students into the consulting field. They all look like us. So that is really my way of giving back, just mentoring people. I've done pro bono consulting work. So this beautiful piece of art behind me was on loan at 3 museums. Because I met an artist in a bar and I became his business advisor for free. And I helped him make a ton of money. And now I have a great art collection. So I'm on that part of my career where it's just really important to give back to people and help them advance their careers. That's what I'm really focused on now. But of course, I enjoy my job and it pays good money, so I got to pay the bills.
Well, Terrence, you dropped about 75,000 things that you've done. The slight humble brag, but not really. It's like, so I've written 7,455 books. Won 54 awards yesterday.
Awesome.
No, I'm talking about. I'm mocking you, by the way, just FYI. But no, we definitely appreciate
modest,
that.
Actually.
Yeah, no, I'm just messing with you. Definitely appreciate all of the things you've done, just to segue and help individuals to see the things that you've seen, because that's important, right? Those experiences are extremely important. So why would you say that you're a techie in your current role? Like, what is it that draw you currently to do the things that you're doing right now?
We have over 200 products. So the cloud business, only 4 to 5% of companies have adopted the cloud. So I'm a techie because in essence, I have to figure out how programs, products, and then this group of great people I lead can help a customer achieve their strategic objectives. So you really need to understand how technology drives a business outcome. No one wants to sit there and talk about AI, ML if you can't tell the CFO that this is going to increase cash flow by helping them identify customers that will potentially not pay their bills on time. So you really need to focus on the outcome of technology and be able to speak that business language to your customers.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. The point about, we can talk about technology and all these things if we want to, but long story short, there is a P&L, a profits and loss statement that we must follow. And so definitely understand that from that point of view. So definitely appreciate you presenting that to us. Okay, so why should we be interested in so you said you mentored 40 people into consulting. So why should someone be interested in your line of work? Like the people that you brought up, was it something that you saw? And what's the passion for that technology? Not only the consulting, but the technology that you're utilizing, that you impart or that you see that resonates with you?
I think people who really pursue technology and careers in consulting, they are really focused on trying to drive changes and primarily positive changes. If we look at, hopefully we're reaching the end of this pandemic, but if it wasn't from technology being able to process massive amounts of data to help scientists make decisions, to help companies develop treatments, to really take a global view of the pandemic, this could not have been done on a calculator, to be honest. So we're at the forefront of how AI, ML, and other forms of technology can be used. Data is the new gold. It is the companies that understand their customers, understand how to use data. They're going to bring the best products to the marketplace. They're going to beat the competition in the marketplace too. So we touch technology every day, from driving a car to your mobile phone to just so many applications. And if we don't provide those opportunities to people, Black and brown, then we're going to have a major divide in terms of haves and have-nots. So it's just really important that people start embracing technology and using it for the benefit of themselves and others.
I got you. So speaking of that, Terrence, one thing I've always mentioned when I talk to, people in the culture or in the community is a lot of times, we have a lot of avenues or ways that we can get information, but sometimes we don't know how to get that information, right? So let's say it's called context failure. There's so many things that I don't know where to go. I don't know where to reach, and it may be overwhelming. And the reason why I'm touching on that is because you just said some things that were very poignant, but from the standpoint of the individuals that you were able to bring along, you shared your passion with them. How do they find Terrence? You know what I mean? How do they know about Terrence?
Well, what I did, I volunteered, and then I gave the people my mobile phone number. I said, you can call me anytime. Don't go through Outlook trying to schedule a meeting. Let's develop a relationship. Yeah. So, if you do type my name in, I think some positive things are going to come up. But I really feel that, a client told me one time that salt is thicker than water. And what that means is you form relationships over food and drink. I mean, just networking with people, going out to eat with them, getting to know their families, whether their dog's name, having a genuine interest and empathy for people. That's how you build the relationships. And that's something I've been fortunate to do. My superpower is win others over, the woo. I have the woo. And the second one is connect. So that's why I'm here, to connect and win others over.
So, I'm gonna piggyback off what you said. So this is fact now.
Okay.
Psychologically, when you share the same food together, there's a higher likelihood of a bond than even if we're at the same table eating a different plate of food.
Correct. Absolutely.
So
that's true.
Yeah. So I see. I'm with you, Terrence. I'm with you.
My customer in China, they said, you know why we like you? I said, because I'm smart. They said, no, because you eat everything. You like Black Chinese man. And I thought that was a great term of endearment.
Did you say you eat everything?
Yeah, I was very adventurous. I was like Anthony Bourdain traveling around the world. That's true. We have to talk about that another
Now,
time.
that's another conversation. That don't have nothing to do with technology. It kind of does, but it doesn't. I got you.
Right.
I understand. Well, Terrence, I definitely appreciate all of the things that you've done, and definitely just from the standpoint of it provides a path that someone else can see, and then definitely appreciate all of the things you said today, because those things are important, and technology is important, and as Chase mentioned, it's an opportunity and a runway.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for the invitation, and those viewing, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn.
Yes, and I can attest to Terrence being a connector, because he already reached out to me, and I'm gonna follow up with you, sir. We're gonna have some tea or something. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna be in Austin soon. Okay, I'll let you know.
Absolutely, sounds good. I appreciate you. All right. So we had Chase, we had Terrence, and two dynamic individuals that gave some insights from two different viewpoints, UX, and then one from the AWS consultant standpoint, and even touched on AI and machine learning for all of those who don't know what ML is. So now we are introducing the next individual, Andre, that's got the matrix in the background. What is going on, sir? And you are on mute, by the way. How you doing, man?
Pretty good, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. So, Andre, you and I volunteered together before, right?
It's been a while. Probably.
Yeah. It has been a while. We volunteered, if I remember correctly, in front of the Urban League building. But that's another story. Okay. All right. But how you doing?
Man, great. Appreciate the opportunity here. Just new year, new goals, more work. Always the case.
Well, we're gonna delve into more work with you, because in your field, the work never stops in your field.
No, it's as you know, cyber is a big industry now. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of work to do, and still a lot of future work to do.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
I'm always busy.
So let's delve straight into that, right? So we'd love to understand how you got into cyber, or tell us exactly what it is. So I just privy, but tell us how you got into the field, that your journey into the field, who exactly you are, and why you started. Why are you in tech?
Well, kind of a quirky start, but I would say for me, I'm a native Austinite, a unicorn here. Yay. I've been in tech, believe it or not, for 30 years now. I got my start when I was about 19, working at IBM. My dad was an engineer out there, and I was able to kind of go to school and start building out systems. So that's kind of where I got my tech start. A lot of the, as my career progressed on the hardware side, I started diving more into the software side, mm-hmm. And then started diving in a little bit more into the IT side. Okay. So did networking and IT for several years, and then just kind of happened to get interested in cyber, mm-hmm. and got an opportunity for one of my past managers that introduced me to a security manager, and the rest has been history. So I've been in cyber now for about 5 years.
Okay.
As a senior security engineer.
I got you. So you had a long runway to cyber. Cyber's been the most recent thing that you.
Yeah, cyber's been the most recent. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I've done a lot of hardware, software, microchips, a lot of stuff. I work for a lot of companies here in Austin, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So I've been around, and 30 years is a long time. I thought about it the other day. 30 years is a long time to be in tech. And it's been great. It's been a great journey so far.
Well, I know one thing that tells us is you have all the insights. You've seen how fast things tend to move, which gives you insight on how things will continue to move at a rapid pace, based on just what you've seen over 30 years, which is you can write it. You got to talk to Terrence. We got to get you writing a book.
Yeah,
we got to get you to write a book.
I can tell a lot of stories.
Yeah.
It's just, with tech, there's always been vast opportunity, right? At least for me. But I also know that with that opportunity, there's been a chance to get other people of color involved in tech. And so Austin has kind of become this hub of that type of opportunity. So that's why I'm here now, to kind of open that opportunity for other people that might want to get in tech and kind of tell my story.
Yes. Well, appreciate that. So we're touching on the story. It said, why are you a techie at your current company, or what's your current role? I see security engineer. Is that your current role?
Yeah, so I've been a security engineer now for about 6 months. Recently got in that. But prior to that, I was on the information security analyst side, kind of manning the front lines with incident response, responding to alerting, threat intelligence, a lot of that good stuff. And then I was able to kind of get promoted up into the engineering ranks, which right now I'm on the network security side. So I deal with making sure my company's network perimeter, whether it be data center or cloud, is protected. And we do a lot of that. And we also look at a lot of solutions that are going to help secure our environment for our organization.
So I want to dig into that a little bit more, so from the standpoint of communicate that I am a 4-year-old child. Maybe I'm a 10-year-old child, and I'm trying to understand what Andre does. Now I'm privy to everything that you said, but I want for the people who may not know exactly all the terminology to make sure they have a grasp and understanding, because that also be if I understand from multiple different angles, and I'm like more apt to potentially come into the field. I'm like, oh, is that what it is? So could you break some of that stuff down for us just a little bit, Andre?
Well, I can break it down in sports term. I'm
do what you do.
I'm the defender, so I'm blocking shots and getting rebounds and playing defense. For my
thank you.
So we can break it down that way, and a little passing, little assisting here and there. But for the most part, I'm defending. I'm making sure nobody gets to the rim.
Right. So, you are blocking all. Andre's blocking all shots.
Yeah, blocking all shots, defending. Yeah. So, I definitely like my role. And it definitely has helped me grow as a person a lot. It becomes went more from a reactive type of position I was in as an information security analyst to more of a strategic role where you have to actually sit down and think about how you want to defend your organization, and also keep the business enabled, so that way you're not tying up the business for making profit, or doing anything that could potentially hinder the business or what they're trying to do as an organization. So yeah, it's been very strategic. Definitely like it. It is a different pace for me, but I'm enjoying it so far.
Yeah. So what's funny about that, what you said, Andre, is it's very much. I read an article, just talking about cybersecurity and how a lot of times some of the programs and things that are created are very reactive. And it talked about how do you create a system that is able to see various things ahead of time to be proactive. Now, the funny thing about that dynamic is, hackers are doing what they do at all times. Like, it's a game. I'm trying to get in, and we'll see what they put up. Oh, that way didn't work. I'm going to try another way. So it's like the ultimate game of chess. Like, the moves keep coming. And so,
Yeah, exactly. One of the sayings is, hey, you have a security solution comes out and it's about 6 months to a year behind what hackers are doing.
Right.
So, you're always chasing the hackers, right? Or chasing your tail.
Yeah.
But, as with anything, you have to have something there secure, right? You can look in the news every other week. There are, organizations getting breached. There are individuals getting breached. There are countries getting breached. There's state governments getting breached, right? And so, you have to have some type of solution that needs to be there to kind of help thwart at least some of those attacks. There's numbers out there. I've seen them vary, but they go from a hacker, being able to obtain access in your environment within 10 minutes versus 3 hours, just depending on how stealthy your network is, right? How stout it is. So, it's been great. Like I said, seeing those solutions that have come down, and we have to architect those to make sure the business runs. But, seeing what type of solutions can actually help keep those type of individuals out of our network.
Makes sense. Okay, so once again, you gave us some great knowledge, some great information, great breakdown. We're going to try to dig right into it. So why should somebody, we're going back, same thing I asked Terrence, maybe 19-year-old Andre, or someone of that caliber that looks like you, or maybe doesn't look like you. Why should they be interested in your line of work, and why you developed this passion for this technology?
So I think one of the female panelists, I think, said it too as well, was, we are in a era now where we have a lot of applications out there, right? We've got a lot of people using apps, putting their data out there. When you also want to know how that data is being used, how that app is being created, what type of security controls are around that, how your data is being pushed out there, on the network or out in public. And so I think for me, working in cyber has opened my eyes up on my basically digital footprint of what I have out here in the public on the internet, right? Not only that, but family members just, being more careful and aware of, what you do with your data. I feel like it's a good opportunity for somebody to get into this field just to find out what cybersecurity is about. A lot of times people think cybersecurity is about just, fending off bad guys, but there's a lot of other things in cybersecurity you can get involved in: compliance and governance, security questionnaires, architecture like the field that I'm in, incident response, threat intelligence, red teaming, which is basically pen testing, hacking, having approval to hack your company. That could be fun for certain individuals, getting paid to do that, right? So there's a lot of, and also project management. A lot of people don't forget about project management. You have to have a PMO to be able to manage a lot of these security projects that are coming down. So there are a lot of different fields you can get into in cybersecurity. It doesn't have to involve, always watching for criminals, trying to see if they want to.
Right. Yeah, good point. Good point. Definitely. Because, cyber security has a stigma too. So definitely appreciate you bringing that point. Well, Andre, thank you very much. We want to bring the other two gentlemen up to the stage so we can have all three people present. Here we go. There we go. There goes Chase. Chase is back. I don't see Terrence, but that's all right. We still love him. But definitely want to. Oh, there he goes. There, the man with the plan. Okay, Terrence, I don't know if you heard us talking to Andre. Andre sounds like he has all the capabilities to write books. So you might have to tell him, how you wrote your books,
Let's collaborate. That would be great, Andre. Definitely.
Awesome. Let's do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, quick question: Do you gentlemen know each other? Have you ever met before this, or this
first time?
First time. All right. So we got three dynamic individuals in three different fields, doing things with technology and opening up the viewpoints of why we should enter in those things. All right, so I'm gonna ask you one question. All right, so this will be more cultural now. So bear with me. What do you feel like? I'm gonna start with Terrence because Terrence is, he's the man over here. Terrence, what do you feel like culturally is your superpower that has allowed you to flourish in the thing that you do?
I think really is. I mentioned my superpower was win others over. I never looked at myself in any environment as like, oh, gee, I'm like the only Black person here. I wonder what people would feel about me. So I bring just tremendous confidence that I didn't even know what imposter syndrome was until a couple months ago. I was like, what is that? So I think it's really bringing confidence in your abilities that really resonated from when we came over to this country. It's just in our DNA. It just needs to come out. That is there. We are very resilient. We've overcome a lot. We've created a lot around the world. And I think that's just something we all can contribute. Definitely.
Appreciate that feedback. I agree. We are super. You have to be able to see the superhero in the mirror. Absolutely. To believe that you are a superhero, and the superhero is most certainly in the mirror. Absolutely. Most certainly, just based off of, as Chase mentioned, Sankofa, what we've seen in the past and what we've walked through. Superheroes, please don't ever. All right, so Chase, thank you, Terrence. Chase, same question. Culturally, what's your superpower?
I think it's the word. To me, I think it's communication. I think on the other side, I'm sure this is a common experience for all of us here. We are very often the only people like us in the room. And I think the thing that we all have with us is the ability to observe and to communicate. And I think that's what it is for me.
Oh, hey, that's a good, hey, look, hey, that's what I'm talking about. Superpowers galore. Thank you, Chase. Yes. All right, Andre, bring us home, brother. Culturally, what's your superpower?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the same thing, but let me also add personable in there, right? So, as Terrence and Chase mentioned, sometimes we're the only ones in the room, but you have to be able to navigate between that, right? And if you're personable with people, hey, how's your daughter doing? Hey, how's so and so doing? You're very personable. Their family history. You got a lot of personal things that you know about certain people, and they know about you. That breaks down a lot of walls and barriers, right? And so that's kind of what I've used. Very personable guy. communication wise, and just talking to people, and just being honest, and homely with them. So that's kind of been my superpower for the last 30 years.
So what I think is great about that I love to tag team on that based on what Terrence said is you can be personable and you can still be genuine. And I think that's extremely important, you know what I mean? Because when you're genuine and you have a sense of self, that energy resonates. And people are attracted to that energy because we don't always see it. So if you become comfortable in the person that you are, it plays a factor. So we should be aware. But when you walk in your true self, to Terrence's point, to all of you all's point, you just got a certain aura about you. You can do your job. You know what you're doing. If you don't know, you can get the information. You walk your walk. And because we're already superheroes and we have so many representations of superheroes in the past in terms of our ancestors, the sky is the limit. It's just a matter of being able to see it. So definitely agree with those sentiments. And gentlemen, thank you so much for all of the feedback and all of the insight that you all are giving us about your careers, your passions, the things that you've done. I'm grateful. I've learned something new from each one of you. Hopefully we continue to connect, because when I look at you, I see you as me. You know what I mean? You're my brother. So, you know what I mean? If you ever need something in Austin that I can help you with. Andre, you're already here. Chase, you're kind of here. But Terrence isn't here. So we gotta bring Terrence in to the family barbecue. Okay, so we're bringing Terrence into the family barbecue. But extremely grateful for you gentlemen, and thank you so much for your time. And we'll bring the Issa back on, and thank you so much, gentlemen. You're on mute.
No. I caught it. I pressed the button, so that does not count.
Okay, it doesn't count. Okay, all right, I'm sorry.
No, that was awesome. Thanks for having everybody on, and shout out to the fellas for being on, and great conversation. And thanks to you, Kobla, for joining us as well. All the insight and personality, as you said. I think that's your superpower. What would you say is yours?
My superpower is, I agree, it's connection and being able to see the greatness that's in each individual, and working to pull those things out. So I agree with you. It's like, oh, you know you're a superhero? Oh, so let me tell you, you're a superhero. I'm gonna show you how I think you're a superhero. Of course, you have to walk your own walk, but I'm gonna show you why I think that. So yeah,
right. That's
absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And as I promised, the next shirt is Curls, Kinks, Braids, and Rose for the culture. So
that's good stuff.
I got another one to give y'all a little bit of a.
Right now, you're a shirt superstar. You are a shirt superstar right now.
I can't tell you what I got next. So.
Okay, all right. Okay. I want that.
But no, all right. So thank you, Kola, for joining, and we definitely enjoyed having you. And if you want to put some things in the comments, I'm going to go ahead and let you enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you so much.
All right.
All right, bye-bye.
And now, all right, everybody. How's everybody going? How's everybody doing out there? I see some comments out there. I see some things that are celebrated. I haven't seen any questions yet, which means we're covering a lot of content. Mm-hmm. So, would you say the same? That's a lot of words. Tyler? I was just saying it's a lot of commentary. I didn't see any questions unless I missed one, but I think the participation level is definitely up there on the chat.
And I think Quest is ready for us. Yes, Quest.
Yes. So Quest, thanks for joining us. Quest, everybody, is Quest is it Moffat? Please pronounce.
Yep, you got it right. Quest Moffat.
Okay. Moffat. I was almost right. He's founder of Kadogo Digital Mercenary, and so he is going to be here to do a showcase for us, one of my favorite things. So go ahead and take it away. And if you need to share your screen, you can do that as well.
Awesome. Thank you. Once again, my name is Quest Moffat. I'm the founder of Kadogo. Big thanks to everyone who's talked about their technological needs. Everyone that talked about UI and user interface and user experience design, I'm actually going to showcase what user interface design looks like once you get there on these final production screens, while explaining what our app does from a technical standpoint, from a data standpoint. So once again, my name is Quest. I'm the founder of Kadogo, and Kadogo is a platform that automates donor-advised funds. We call them giving accounts. For everyone that doesn't know what a donor-advised fund, it is your personal foundation. This is a vehicle that very wealthy people have used, or rich people have used for years, decades, to lower their tax bill. And so what we have done is we have flipped it on its head and allowed everyone within the Black and brown community to have these accounts so they can build up wealth, but they can do it in a different way. Since we don't have the funds on a daily basis to make tens of $1,000 donations to our favorite alma maters, nonprofits, your school, we built a mobile application that turns everyday transactions into charitable donations. Think about it. When you go to Starbucks really does give 2% back in cashback rewards. The same thing with Chick-fil-A. My best example that I like to tell everyone, think to Chipotle. Chipotle provides a 33.3% kickback off of every transaction that you make. And so our mobile application shows you everywhere that you can shop that will give you cashback rewards. So you can then find these rewards like a Starbucks or a Chick-fil-A. And what we did was we designed a user interface because our users were telling us, or these donors were telling us, hey, I'm broke. I'm an employee. I don't have money, but I want to participate in these donation days. So we listened and we built a section that shows you all of the rewards that you're capable of going out and getting. So as you can see, Subway, 7-Eleven, Chick-fil-A, Starbucks, we've negotiated these rewards with these individuals. So every time you shop with them and slide your debit card, you get a cashback reward so you can donate it at another day. Well, then we found out that these users, they needed to know, hey, tell me when I actually redeem a reward. Let me know when I go shopping somewhere and they give me cash back so I can donate it. This is that whole warm feeling, that psychological feeling. So this is meeting users at a psychological level and making them feel happy. Because when we donate and you tell me that I just donated and I just gave someone some free money, well, I now feel happy. So once again, our app gives you free money to save and donate to your favorite nonprofits. And as you see here, we've shown you your balance, how much money you've retained in rewards, your total donations that you've earned from Starbucks or Chick-fil-A. And then what that ends up being at the end of the day is you get these two fancy screens that users are constantly collecting free money. And it sounds weird that you're like, who literally gives free money? Well, there's over 10 million restaurants and businesses who provide a cashback reward of some type for you to actually be able to donate to your local favorite place. And also 60% of corporations provide an employee match, and our software automatically provides the match. So we send all of this data downstream, all of these transactions, we analyze it. As you can see, these transactions, they would be different locations. We analyze it and we tell the nonprofit, you should partner with Starbucks because you have a large amount of donors that are going there. Or you should go here because they're going to give you a lot of free money in a corporate partnership. Just send your donors there. And so, yeah, that's what our mobile app does overall. And the one last thing I wanted to say to everyone that's been talking about user interface, the fun piece about user interface design, if you are very personable, have the ability to talk and pull out the requirements and organize it, sometimes, not all the times, but they make the same amount of money as a software developer and or more. I would know this because I have 20 years of being a software engineer. I started off deep in cybersecurity. I have now ended in this spot. I have now ended in this spot of now designing the interfaces for individuals for these mobile applications. So yeah, that's what we do in a nutshell. I help you get free money to donate to your favorite nonprofits so they can benefit.
No, I am on it already. So I'm downloading it right now. That is awesome. And so could you, so a little bit about the product. So what if there's like a new nonprofit? I guess, is it only like larger entities, or can you just search anybody that you're a nonprofit? Like, is you on there?
So that's a great question. We recently just got into the Sputnik ATX accelerator here in Austin, Texas. And so we're going to utilize their $100,000 in funding to add in all 1.5 million nonprofits to our system. So you would be able to donate to any of them. For those nonprofits that don't exist in the system, you can add them in and refer them. And then if you find a business and you're like, hey, this business isn't here and I think they should be here, we have a button inside of the app that will be activated hopefully this weekend that you can refer your favorite business.
So we can refer both nonprofits and we can refer businesses.
Yep.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I mean, like, because I mean that makes it easier on the nonprofit instead of always searching for funds, or asking, requesting for donations, because some people are more shy, but you already have an automated version that's right on your phone, just the same way you collect points when you make purchases, like Chipotle has a point system.
Yep.
You can donate at the same time. That is awesome.
And the crazy thing about it, there are 27 million employees, so people that are on this phone. I've seen a couple of y'all that work for Amazon. They have a matching program, and a lot of times us nonprofits will receive a donation only to find out later that you worked at Amazon or Microsoft. And I missed the opportunity to get a double or a quadruple donation from your company. And our software automates that. And so all of the fun, wonky stuff, all of the fun stuff happens on the back end of our code, but we're tied into corporations. If you work at a corporation that offers matching, you don't have to now think about it or find the rules. Our software will automatically do the matching. So when you get to $50, which is usually the general requirement for someone like an Amazon or a Microsoft, $50 in free money, well, now you get another $50 from Microsoft automatically. All of this money is saved. And remember, the one good thing about these accounts, if you made $100,000 last year and you're like, I'm not reporting all of that to Uncle Sam, a Kadogo giving account, aka the donor advised fund, allows you to write up off to 65% of your adjusted gross income, and or you can write off all of your capital gains and keep it in your Kadogo giving account while also investing it. And so our app does go a lot further than what we're showing you here. But for the everyday user that just wants a way to donate, we got you covered. Nonprofits need a different way to source income. We got you covered.
Awesome. Is that so? Two things. So thank you for asking your question in the comments, but I also wanted to ask before we get to that. So when you were talking about the matching and finding out somebody's an AWS employee or a Microsoft employee, that's something they would set up on their profile when they're indicating their employment status, so they'll go ahead and automatically do the matching, or at least match up with what you were saying earlier.
Yes.
Right.
And so once we figure out where that employee works at, we go ahead and get the corporation on board. So we're looking at, you have the nonprofits have donors. Right. These donors are also customers and their employees, but nonprofit doesn't know where Michael works or where Quest works. So my technology highlights it and brings that in. And we slow-mo it as of right now, since we are still a startup, we are growing. If anyone out there is a nonprofit or a business or a corporation would like to pilot this with us, go ahead. I can't pronounce your name. I'm going to go ahead and guess Fahad.
Fahad, yes, he was asking. So Kadogo, is that Swahili, and what does it mean? What does Kadogo mean?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Kadogo means small economy. It means small in Swahili. It also means small economy. 75% of Kenya's economy is still done in a shilling. It's done in spare change. And what we believe is that every nonprofit, instead of relying on grants, relying and begging your audience and your donors to give you money, what if we could give everyone their own small economy? We always talk about that the Black community is a $1.3 trillion juggernaut in spending power, but that does not translate back to either our savings, let alone it does not go back to the nonprofits, let alone that Black people are also the most giving group of people. Wow. But that also does not go to our nonprofits. We give to everyone else. And so we wanted to make sure that if you are a nonprofit and you make 50 to 100, maybe $1 million a year, there are alternative ways to get funding without begging me for it. And I may not always have $50. I got student loan debt. I have a kid, so that's expensive. So if I can go to Chipotle or go shop at Target and that money comes to me and then goes to you downstream, that's awesome. And the one last thing I want to say, the credit card rewards, the points that you get back from your credit card, those are completely separate than what we have negotiated. So if you have a Capital One card and you get points from your gas station, and then I negotiate the same deal with the gas station, you just double dipped. And so that's the beautiful thing about our platform.
I was literally thinking about, so what about these other points I'm getting? Okay, that's all I need to hear.
We are working on ways that you will be able to donate the points from your existing credit card, take your existing Target points or Macy's points and do the exact same thing.
Do they roll over, or in terms of the?
Yeah, the money rolls over. It is, you can donate it every 30 days or you can grow it. A lot of our users opt to grow it. And for those advanced users, like I mentioned, you can take that free Starbucks money and then turn around and buy a Starbucks share. So buy stock in the name of the company. The name of the company is Kadogo.
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 Kobla was asking, are you taking investments?
Yes, we are actively raising a round of money. So feel free to find me, quest@kadogo.co. Like I did mention, we did just get an investment from Austin Sputnik's ATX. So I do have $1.5 million round open. If any of y'all want to learn how to raise money or talk about that, I can give you all types of advice on it. But yeah, we are actively raising money.
No, that is totally awesome. Like I said, I got it on my phone now, so there's no excuse. It's easy as downloading the app and go ahead and start reinvesting that money. Because like you said, the dollar only stays in the Black community for a couple of seconds. And it might be lower to maybe like a couple of interactions, and then it's out again. So this is just another way, and it's automatic. It's not something that you have to even think about or set aside. You know, it just happens on your interactions. So I think that's really awesome.
And thanks for that. We did just relocate to Austin, so we are now adding in Austin locations to the application. So those will be coming in the next couple of weeks. In the meantime, feel free to set up spare change or add-ons. Those are the exact same thing. Anyone that's doing them, Kauffman Foundation is matching those transactions for right now. So if Autumn would like to sign up and have $1,000 of matching, please contact us. We have all this free money that we need to give away.
So you said spare change, Kadogo. What was the third one again? I'm sorry.
So we do spare change and add-ons. So if you're not earning rewards,
yes, okay, I misunderstood.
You can tell the app.
I don't know the name of apps right now, so no, it is spare change under Kadogo. Yes, no, that's awesome. Thanks. And the AUTMHQ, yeah, will definitely be on there. Probably do that right after this event. Today you'll have a new entry.
I will. I'll most likely. I'll just get off the phone, and when we get off, I'll actually register you guys. So you guys, so that way anyone can find y'all in the system and start donating to you ASAP.
Definitely. So don't get off just yet. We are actually going to bring back some more people for some final remarks. So, Quest, if you don't mind, thank you. Never mind, we already got it. So cool. We got Terrence, we got Aisha, we got Chase. Hey everybody. Hey Tyler. All right, this has been a great round. Thank you everybody for coming on and sharing your insight. It's not too often, especially with some of the positions that y'all have that are Automites, or even those who are joining us that will become Automites soon, have a chance to interact with y'all. And if they're not in your immediate circle, speaking of Automites, some people don't have a tech person, and I say that either being technical or non-technical, but working at a tech company, they don't have anybody in their immediate circle. And so this actually, supplements for that. The more people attend our events, the more they become comfortable with, comments and reaching out on LinkedIn. So we definitely thank you for coming in and making it personable and letting people feel comfortable to interact with you. This is really important. So thank you. And I know. So thank you for everybody else inside of the comments that either cheered on, or if you added your 2 cents, or if you added any questions. All that was very valuable. And thanks for stepping out on a limb there. No, it can be a little shy because your comment does stay, and we'll see it again on the recording somewhere else. Just kidding, no pressure. But thanks for interacting with us. And definitely look out to all these names on the screen. You have their company, you have their name, you have their face. If they don't have their face on their icon, you still have their company and their name. Please look them up and interact. And just say, hey, I'm an Automite. I attended the Talking Tech event with you guys on Tuesday. Chase, I wanted to ask you about. Terrence, I really like that you said. Aisha, what do you think about? Just throw it out there. That is what we're here for. The community is here for that. And definitely want to make sure you utilize that opportunity, because if it's not in your inner circle, you're not going to be able to reach out, right? So thank you so much.
One thing, just jumping in here, Issa, once again, I confirmed the thank yous from everybody. But we did want to ask one. It is Black History Month. Right. I've heard that somewhere. The fact that you've had 3,000 shirts that are representing Black History Month, we clearly know from you.
I couldn't Black History Month because I didn't have a time to go off camera.
Okay. All right. But one thing I do want to kind of go around the table is, it's Black History Month, which is just American history. 365 days a year. Right. But in thinking about Black History Month and how tech has impacted you and the culture and all the things that we've talked about, would love for you to touch, and I'll start with Quest, just the impact of technology in Black History Month and where you see those two things intertwining and how they move forward.
see it becoming more experiential.
Okay.
Now that we have more technology at our fingertips and it's more accessible for everyone, I see you being able to experience Black history in a whole new way. And I guess one of the cool things, I met a startup while I was down here called Kinkofa, and their whole goal is to put stories with the DNA when you do your scan, so you can actually pull that back. I think that is some next level ish, because right now you just get a PDF. And so I know that's talking about someone else's startup, but I'm excited to see stuff like that come down the pipeline. Especially like Chase, you mentioned that there's just a lot more of us in the room now when it didn't used to be. And there's still a few of us, and we're getting there. But that's where I'm proud to see where it goes. So now we had technology.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but Quest, I just want to say that we 100% should shout out other technology and other platforms. That's Misha, by the way, that's doing Kinkofa. I do know Misha, and that they're part of DivInc Social Innovation Cohort. So shout out to DivInc too. So no, absolutely, what you're doing, what they're doing, and how technology can bridge. I'm not even gonna say bridge the gap, open new roads, new yellow brick roads. So definitely appreciate that, Quest. Crystal, same question for you. There we go.
Of course. There we go. No, that's how it always is. For me, I talked about telling stories, right? And when we're talking about, I love what Chase said, my fellow board member on Blackboard, talking about how we're not really included in the past, but we're a part of the future. But, you know, when we look at our past and we look at our history as Black people, like we have been there. We have just not been included. You know, we've got people who invented the traffic light, right? Who did the first open heart surgery, things like that. We made contributions to technology that weren't necessarily recognized. And if we look backwards in our history, we see some of those goats, right? Like greatest of all times that were never recognized. And we take that energy forward with us as we look at the future and how we become a part of the future of Black history. And I especially love this. You know, I got my undergrad in history partly. And so this is my thing. I love combining those two, tech and history, especially our history.
Yes, appreciate that. That's valid. And, you know, it's so funny too. I mentioned it when I was talking to Terrence. Sometimes there's so much information that we don't know where to look to get it. You know what I mean? But we have such a rich history. Man, I remember I'm throw it in there. My mother gave me comic books of historical figures of African American descent when I was a child. And so, you know what I mean? We have access to those things. You're like, oh, we did some things and we're going to continue to do some things. So definitely appreciate that, Crystal. Aisha, what you got for us?
Yes, what I would just want to say about it is that, you know, I'm really noticing and love, you know, just being able to bring your full identity to technology as well. Starting in my career early off, that was, you know, something that I didn't feel confident and secure in. And because I was the only one, people in my space didn't make me feel that way either. But, you know, I show up, I have bright hair and just show up as myself and, you know, really making sure that really is embraced within my culture. And not only just, you know, during Black History Month, but every single day, 365, 24/7. And I think that is really important in technology, especially as, you know, our people are really consumers of a lot of this space. So, you know, if we want them to pay attention, we have to make sure that we make them see us, you know, in our identity, and we don't have to leave it at the door when we come into spaces.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna chime in on that a little bit. I almost feel like, hey, I don't need to be concerned with what play you're running, as long as I run my play. That's all there is to it. I don't need you to see anything. I'm gonna walk my walk because my walk is strong, and I got a whole bunch of people backing me, including you, Miss Aisha. I'm just saying.
That's right.
Yeah. So, Miss Tasha, thank you for that.
Yeah. So Black history, you know, I'm going to continue the vein of, you know, the past, but make it more forward looking. You know, so when I think about technology and I think about, you know, the space that I'm in and the fact that technology is such a, you know, great equalizer. I think about like blockchain being a technology that is in its relative infancy, and the fact that that we've taken up that technology in places like Africa, and it's connecting the diaspora, and so having these technologies that are connecting us as a community around the world, and having the opportunity to really pick up where we are and advance the ball in those newer technologies is what I think about when we talk about history, but then going into the future.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great point. Great point. Like I said, we creating a new yellow brick road. I might have to coin that. The new yellow brick road. And Black Wall Street is along the path. Terrence, definitely going to get to a question. We have a question. But Terrence, your thoughts on technology and Black History Month and American history in general?
I think, an important book I read was called A People's History of the United States, which is an excellent book. I encourage everyone to read that by Howard Zinn. It'll help you really appreciate a lot of what we've contributed and the history that wasn't written. I think it's important to definitely learn about the past, all those great inventions and things we contributed, but really think about how you're going to make history. I mean, the Cadogo, the overview, I mean, that's making history. Robert Smith, the CEO and founder of Vista Equity Partners, 86 billion of assets under management, potential buyer of the Denver Broncos. He's making history. He paid off the student loan debts of HBCU students. So I think that's, if anything, I think people from the audience should take away is how can you make history? How can you do that? What can you contribute that would be your legacy in helping other people achieve their dreams and goals? And it's not get rich quick. I don't think a million people gonna make $1 million on YouTube trying to be an influencer. But if that's something you could do, go for it. But I say just make history. That's the key.
Make history. All right. Thank you, Terrence.
Make history.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. And Chase, not last but not least. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hit us.
I think my mind is also in thinking about the diaspora. So today, Duolingo launched Haitian Creole on the platform. And so this just has me thinking a lot. These concepts of self-preservation, call and response, which is like key to our music in so many ways. And you also think of software call and response. So to me, it's the way that technology can make this diaspora feel so much smaller. We are wrapped all the way around the globe, everywhere. There isn't hardly anywhere you can go where we aren't there. So I think creating more of those connections, and I know Howard Zinn was thrown out here. I'm gonna throw this one out here. The Black Experience in Design, Identity, Expression, and Reflection. This is a 595-page tome. This is an incredible book. It just came out. But this is the thing, writing ourselves into our own history, remembering ourselves, preserving the things that we have contributed so that we can reference ourselves. We don't necessarily have to reference postmodern Paul Rand, all of that. We have everything we need. So that's where my mind is.
Nah, that's an excellent point. We have everything we need. And, especially when you really start to think about the dynamics and when we meet each other, when we're open and vulnerable with one another, you're like, man, we got a lot of smart people. We have a lot of talented people. You put this thing together. This is a strong team. This is a strong team. So there is a question that we wanted to pose to you all. Someone asked, Moshe Bass asked this question, and anybody can chime in. How important do you all feel that having hiring managers of color play in diversifying the tech industry?
I'd love to take a stab at this one. So my very first manager, UX manager, was a Black woman. And I can imagine where I would be or not be today had I not had her as my very first manager. She had a PhD, she worked at NASA, she worked at Dell, she worked everywhere. And it sort of forged this path forward already for Black women, like just a half a generation before me. And because of that, I was able to navigate the early pitfalls of your career, where you fall flat on your face so many times, we make mistakes, or we don't know how to navigate corporate culture, because I didn't come from that kind of background. I was able to navigate that with so much grace that I learned quickly. I adapted. Now I can share that to the next set of Black women or Latinx women who come up behind me. And I mean, I am utterly grateful for her. She is the godmother of Black UX Austin. She's the one that brought all of mostly Black women together to create this this community that we have. So I can't tell you how important it is to have managers of color there for individual contributors.
And I think that begs to, what community is and what our community was. And you know what I mean? You have different segments, different generations, but the gems are there. You know what I mean? When you have somebody that sees you and says, "Oh, I got some things for you. I need you to come listen for a little bit." And us as young people being open enough to listen, you know what I mean? To get the gems and not think that we know everything, because the 16-year-old you knew everything. but we have those things. So I think that's great. And great points, Crystal. So thank you so much.
I'll jump in there. Sorry.
Go ahead,
I just wanted to jump in there because this has been on my mind a lot. As someone who, is in a position to hire, obviously you want the best talent regardless, period. But one of the things that, I've communicated to my team just in general is there are certain skill sets and attributes that various people bring to the table. We're not looking for the Stanford engineering degree. I got my degree at Tuskegee University, so I'm an HBCU product. So, what I can do is encourage my hiring managers to look at, some of the tangibles differently, because what made me successful is the same thing that can make the person that's coming on board successful. So using that influence internally is what I try to do, at least.
If I can just put my 2 cents in, I completely agree. My first manager, if anyone remembers CompUSA back in the day, I used to work at CompUSA in the networking section, and I didn't even know what a clearance pass was, networking, engineering, security, cyber, any of that. And due to Ryan helping me, I ended up taking my MCSE while I was in school, or my Microsoft Certified System Engineer while I was in high school. I then ended up with all of my Cisco stuff. Long story short, I left high school with a clearance pass due to him. And then I ended up getting a top secret clearance. And then I did red team pen testing and all of that fun stuff, and became a professional hacker. Due to that one early person that literally put the bug in my ear. I never heard that you could get paid to break into buildings. And for 8 years of my life, that's what I did professionally.
You can't
I'll
beat
jump
that.
in as well. I mean, everyone has really said it, but it is really important. It just goes back to that whole theme of, what I say to kids: if you can't see it, you can't be it. You need to be able to see that excellence in front of you. And it is very helpful. Even transitioning into my new role at AWS, I immediately sought out where the leadership was. So I know, who I could go to ask questions about how to get to that next level, how to have certain questions with my manager who doesn't look like me. And just those days that you just want to be able to vent and just let some stuff go, so you need that. And I think it's important to see that, in someone who's going to be hiring on you, or making sure that there is someone on your hiring team who does look like you as well.
Definitely. In all of that, like I said, I'm calling out all the Automites. You're going to be hearing from me about this, but this is your community here. These are the people that you want to reference. As they were saying, a lot of times these people are in your inner circles, but the point of networking is to gain that experience, to gain that knowledge from those who've already had it. So you can go on, not only, it might direct you in a different path, it might cause you to make avoid certain mistakes. Just having these people in your corner is what is necessary. So I definitely want to, like I said, thank everybody for coming in. If you have a chance, please connect on LinkedIn. We put a lot of chats in the LinkedIn for the links. There are some books in the chat for you to check out. If you have any questions about anything related to AUTMHQ, you have our website. That will be in the chat as well. to go ahead and join, get trained, become a mentor, become a partner, become a volunteer, however you see fit, and what your talents allow for. So thanks to everybody for joining, and happy Black History Month. And we'll see you again, actually, our upcoming event on the 24th with Tyler on Auto Horizons to represent. So thank you for joining. All right, yes. Everybody has to do it. Wakanda forever, yes. Thank you. Bye now.